Locker Room, with all the sports news you need, live.
And hello, very good afternoon to you. This is the Locker Room, sponsored by VAR. We've got a new sponsor on the show now. No, I'm on the kigging before Graham hits the roof. No, they're not the new sponsors. So, good afternoon, welcome to the show. This is the Locker Room on Indie Live Radio on Independence Live. We're here until 5 o'clock. If you want to make a comment on anything, because it's been a bit of a quiet weekend actually in Scottish football, you can do that on YouTube or Facebook Live, and or if Twitter is your thing, you can comment on Twitter as well. Just going to the Locker Room Indie on Twitter, and we will get your points up between now and 5 o'clock. Graham, it's just been a quiet weekend, isn't it?
Don't you just love the Cinch Premiership? Not a lot to talk about today, is there?
Yeah, no, I'll be a very quick show. We'll be finished by 8 o'clock tonight, I promise. At the latest, because I've got work to go to tomorrow. So there's only one place to start, Graham, and I don't. Where do you think we should start today?
Ross County St Mirren.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's speak about Mark O'Hara's goal. Yeah. No, okay, then that's enough for the pantomime season out of the way. Talking about no, let's not go there. Yeah, so McDermott Park, let's talk about the game. It's just finished, Glenn. St Johnstone against Rangers. But before we get into that, Glenn, are we getting any team news or that from Tynecastle?
We do. Hearts against Motherwell is about a minute old. It's still 0-0 at the moment at Tynecastle. So Hearts line up with Craig Gordon in goal, Michael Smith, Sibbett, Cochrane, Halliday, Devlin, Grant, Snodgrass, Mackay, Janelli and Shankland. On the bench for Hearts, it's Clark, Keogh, Atkinson. A welcome back for Kai Ribbles, the Australian back after injury. It's good to see. Forrest, Nielsen, Henderson, Connor Smith and Finlay Pollock. And for Motherwell, it's Liam Kelly in goal, McGinn, Solholm, Lammy, Perry, Goss, Slattery, Spittle, McKinstry, Shields and Van Veen. And on the bench for Motherwell, it's Oxborough, O'Donnell, Mugabe, Maguire, Cornelius, Moult, Morris, Tierney and Miller.
And I won't ask you who the VR ref is today, because we might find out in the next 10 seconds if there's a penalty instant at Tynecastle. So we'll keep you up to date with that till 5 o'clock tonight. If Graham smiles a lot, Hearts are winning. If he wants to swear, it's Motherwell have scored. But there you go. So okay, back to the game in hand, Glenn. St Johnstone 2, Rangers 1, Glenn, and that's the first win St Johnstone's had over Rangers since 2017. So what do you think of the game? Obviously, we'll touch upon Van Bronckhorst, because obviously that'll make the headlines. But what do you think overall?
Well, I think that if any game proves that stats don't matter, then it was this one, because Rangers had 7 shots on target. They had 11 shots off target, 73% possession and 20 corners, and they lost. So it just proves that stats don't matter, because the main stat is that result. And I thought for long spells, first half especially, Rangers were dominating. They were camped in the St Johnstone half, but they didn't really create a lot. It's not like Elliot Parish and St Johnstone's goal was getting, pounded with shot after shot. Rangers they just didn't really create a lot. And I thought St Johnstone's back three of Mitchell, Considine and McGowan were very impressive. Any ball that came in the box, they blocked it. They were very, very good defensively. And then, St Johnstone weren't creating a lot. And then what a goal from Jason Brown. I mean, honestly, it's a magnificent strike, and it's his first ever goal. And what a way to get it. It's a brilliant strike on his right foot. McGregor's got, I think 2 keepers wouldn't have saved that. And then St Johnstone got something to hang on to after that. In second half, I thought St Johnstone were a bit more adventurous. They maybe opened up a little bit, created a couple of decent chances. Nicky Clark we spoke about it before. Nicky Clark, a great sending for St Johnstone, gets the second goal. And at that point, you're thinking, this game's done. Rangers haven't done enough to get back into this. Obviously, Tavernier gets the goal. I personally think Elliot Paris should do a bit better in St Johnstone goal. I think he should save that. But even then after that, again, Rangers didn't really create a lot. It was a lot of balls in the box. They weren't, again, pounding the goal. So it's a disappointing one for Rangers, but for St Johnstone, what a win that is. And it lifts them up to 5th place in the league, which is brilliant for Callum Davidson. And yeah, I just thought Rangers all over the pitch, for all the possession they had, they didn't really create a lot, and that's got to be a worry for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. Again, I thought Ryan Kent flattered to deceive. I think Sakala worked hard on the other side, but again, he didn't really do enough. And it was just a very disappointing result again for Rangers. 7 points behind now, and already I think the league's done.
I think as well, as you said, Glenn, Rangers had a lot of the ball in the first half, but they didn't really do much with it. The only 2 shots that only decent 2 efforts was Sakala hitting the bar and Lundstrom in the first half, and that was all.
Yeah, listen, Sakala says it's a good header. He's not the biggest, and it's a really good leap. And he's a bit unlucky. And then that strike from Lundstrom, it's a sensational hit. If that goes in, it's an absolutely magnificent goal, but it doesn't, so it's not. But, apart from that, it wasn't like Rangers created up. They weren't really causing a lot of problems. As I say, normally when you're looking at stats like that, you're thinking Elliot Paris and St Johnstone goal must have been brilliant. He wasn't. He didn't have a lot to do. He took a lot of crosses. He didn't have a lot to do. But I thought Andy Considine was excellent for St Johnstone. He showed his experience, really led the line really well for St Johnstone at the back. Ryan McGowan, ex-Jambo, I thought was great. And I just thought St Johnstone showed a lot of heart and a lot of fight today. But for Rangers, it's worrying. They're not creating a lot. You look at, for example, right, you look at Celtic. Now, I know we'll talk about it later. But Celtic, when they played St Johnstone got level, but Celtic went straight on the pitch and scored and won the game. I never get that from Rangers. Even yesterday, Celtic, they're 2-2. They win the game, scoring twice in the last few minutes. Again, that's what Celtic do. I don't get that feeling with Rangers. Even when they got back to 2-1, I never really thought they were going to get anything out of that game. So that shows where Celtic and Rangers are. And 7 points behind already is a massive, massive gap when Celtic don't look like getting beat. So yeah, I think Brad Barker's have got a lot of problems. We said on Friday, if they don't start picking up points, they'll be under pressure. Now, that's a massive defeat for them today. It's a huge defeat for them. And again, you go on Twitter after the game, a lot of Rangers fans wanting Van Bronckhorst out. I said this before. Look at where they were last season. The fact they got to a Europa League final and they nearly won it, but for the penalty from Aaron Ramsey. So things have turned massively, but that's a disappointing result today. And again, I just don't think for all the possession that they did enough to win that game.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I suppose if you don't take the chance, you don't win the game because Rangers had a lot of the ball. They didn't create too many chances, and then St Johnstone went up the park and scored by James Brown. And I want to do this, Glenn. Ow! Sorry. And that was a wonderful strike and a wonderful goal. Sorry about that impression, by the way.
Yeah, well, I bet it feels good. It was a magnificent strike, honestly, an absolutely sensational strike. And considering that St Johnstone at the point hadn't really threatened, when they got the ball, they weren't keeping it. They weren't stringing 4 or 5 passes together. They just couldn't keep hold of it. And to score a goal like that against the run of play, let's be honest, it was a sensational strike. It really was. To fire that in the top corner, it's a brilliant, brilliant strike. And I think it made the team talk a little bit different because at half-time, if it goes 0-0, you're wondering what the two managers say. But if you Callum Davidson, you're thinking, right, let's just try and, if we can hold on to this, fantastic, or if we can build it even better. And they did build on it. Nicky Clark was spoken about. It's a great finish again from Nicky Clark. And, at that point, 2-0 up, you're thinking, this is a long way back for Rangers. St Johnstone are not giving a lot away. But, you can look at Rangers all you want, but you have to say, give fair credit to St Johnstone. It's a massive, massive victory. A huge result for Callum Davidson. And as I said, to go on now 5th place in the league. At the start of the season, I didn't see that happening, I'll be honest. I thought they'd be in trouble. they won't be this season by the looks of it. It's a brilliant result, a really, really good, strong performance from Johnston, and now they have to build on that. For Rangers, yeah, it's a massive worry because they didn't create enough. And I think there was a point as well. I think the first goal, I think it is, John Lundstrom seems to give up on the ball. He doesn't track back. I think he's looking for a run from Sakala, which doesn't come. And when that doesn't happen, he just seems to stop and give up. And if you're Van Bronckhorst, that's got to be a huge concern that your players just gave up.
9 minutes on the clock at Tynecastle, Hearts 0, Motherwell 0. Not a lot to write home about the game, actually. Motherwell had a free kick. Van Veen took a few minutes ago, and it was wide of the mark as well, but still 0-0 as Motherwell breaks forward. But yeah, I mean, Rangers would be disappointed. And don't forget, Glenn, before Nicky Clark scored his second goal, there was good link-up play by Skibby May and Nicky Clark, but I'm sure that Nicky Clark put the ball wide of the target, but it was good kind of play before the second goal.
It was. We spoke about this before. You could see what Nicky Clark's brought to St Johnstone. He's brought the best out of Stevie May, and that link-up has been very impressive. I think Nicky Clark's a little bit unlucky he's not got a second goal. But they were a threat. You know, although they didn't create a lot, St Johnstone, they were a threat more second half. I thought they opened up a little bit. And again, just that link up with Clark and May, I thought they had a couple of decent opportunities. I think there's another one in the second half. I can't remember what the score was, but there's one in the second half where I think it's David Witherspoon tries to turn and he just can't quite get there. And McGregor makes the block. But
yeah, that was at 2-0, I think.
I think it was at 2-0,
yeah.
So it was a little bit unfortunate, but you could tell that they were causing Rangers problems. And, you know, Rangers at times opened up quite a bit second half and it let St Johnstone catch them on the counter-attack. And I wouldn't have been surprised if St Johnstone scored a third. But in the end of the day, once Rangers get that goal back, again, I just didn't think they were really threatening enough. There was a lot of balls in the box. I thought Cholak, again, didn't really cause a lot of problems. So there's huge concerns for Rangers. I mean, they play Hearts on Wednesday. Our record in Glasgow is not very good. I'm hoping that's going to change. But they play Hearts on Wednesday at Ibrox. That's a game you'd expect that they would win. But 7 points behind already this early in the season is a huge concern. And the way they're playing as well, they're not playing well. And again, that's got to be a huge concern. And Hearts have just missed a golden opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't know if the flag went up. I don't think so. It's a golden opportunity for Shankland. The ball's played into him. I'm just having a look here. So it's a ball from Alec Cochran. It's picked out. I think it's Gianelli who gets the ball back to Shankland. It's a good save, actually. It's a good save.
Yeah, it saved it. Yeah, but he should have actually done better, to be honest. He shouldn't have took a touch on it, Graham.
Yeah, I mean, it's a decent first touch, but I think he probably should take that first time. But it's a decent save from Liam Kelly. But Hart should be a goal up there for me. I think he's got to score.
Yeah, no, exactly. And, yeah, okay.
Another chance for Hearts for the corner. Another chance there for Hearts, but held by Liam Kelly.
I was going to say as well that even though they've got a massive game on Wednesday night against Hearts, they've got an even massive, if that's a word, I don't think that's a word, and next Sunday against Midland, because Celtic found it difficult there a few weeks ago.
They did. It's going to be, every game just now is a tough one for Rangers because they have to win. That's the thing, they have to win. And today is another massive letdown for Rangers. And St Mirren's not going to be an easy game. They are coming off the back of a disappointing result yesterday. I don't think they played that badly, but, Ross County got a deserved win. So, yeah, St Mirren are in a decent position as well. They're sitting sixth. So that's not going to be easy. And as you said, Celtic found out how tough that's going to be. So, yeah, it's a difficult game. But, I mean, Rangers, it is a worry. As I say, you go on Twitter and already, again, the comments of Gio out. Rangers fans are not happy. They are furious with him. And I can understand why. Again, I don't think they're getting the best out of Ryan Kent. I keep going back to this. He's not done well enough. I think Tillman looked okay in midfield. I thought he offered a bit of energy. But they're not doing enough for me. Celtic, for me, as well as being well ahead in the league, Celtic, performance-wise, are streets ahead of Rangers. They just look so much better than Rangers. So, yeah, it's a huge concern.
Was it not in the second half, Graham, when Rangers were 2-0 down and tell me if I'm talking absolute rubbish here, but there was a chance that Kent would get the ball, and they just kind of gave up, and that just sums it up for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ryan Kent is a very frustrating player, but a lot of wingers are, and he just doesn't seem to have that spark just now. I think he's quite easy to mark at times. I thought McGowan was excellent against him today. Really, he tried to show him down the line.
Your mate McGowan.
Yeah, I thought McGowan was excellent. I'm going to talk him up because he's brilliant, and I've met him. So yeah, but yeah, I just thought Kent didn't do enough again. He flatters to deceive. Dave's talked about this. He does flatter to deceive at times, and again, I thought today he was very frustrating. Again, the other side as well, Sakala. I mean, I thought he worked hard, but again, it was quite frustrating. So I just don't think Rangers get enough out of their better players, if you like. And again, just defensively, the 2 goals they lost. Listen, it's a great finish for Jason Brown, but the second goal they lose is a really poor defence from Rangers. It's a great finish for Nicky Clark, but it's poor defending. So there's a huge worry for Van Bronckhorst. I mean, what does he do now? I mean, as I say, the calls for him to get sacked are huge. So he's got a massive turnaround, but I just don't see, even this early in the season, I just don't see Rangers winning the league. Celtic just looked far too strong.
I mean, I'm looking at the Rangers team here, Graham, and you know that's a decent team that they had out as well. But like, there was non-existent, and you mentioned about Tillman. I forgot he was in the park because he was kind of like post-gig missing.
I thought Tillman started well. I thought he was kind of dominating the midfield in the first half, but he kind of fell out of it second half. But again, you're just looking at where's the leadership on that Rangers team? You know, who's the man that's going to step forward and do something? Obviously, Tavernier gets the goal, but again, I just think the goalkeeping for me, I think Parish has got to do better. And I think that's Tavernier's 90th goal for Rangers. I think about 80 of them have been penalties, but you still got to score. But no, I just think there's no leadership in that Rangers team. There's nobody really dominating that game. Again, when he came on again, I thought Morelos didn't really offer anything when he came on, to be honest. I thought Matondo again didn't really show enough. So there's just a lack of leadership on that Rangers team for me.
Let's go and to speak about St Johnstone, because obviously last season we were saying about Callum Davison might get the sack, but there you go, he's turned it round again, Graham.
He has. You know, you look back to that Celtic game a few weeks ago, they were very impressive second half. I thought they were great. They get the leveler, but as I say, Celtic go on and win the game, and you knew they would. But I think that kind of gave St Johnstone a bit of confidence that they could match Celtic and Rangers, especially at home. And they've done exactly the same thing again today. I'll be honest, first half I wasn't sure what the game plan was, because Rangers were dominating possession. It looked like St Johnstone were happy to let them have the ball, and just any ball in the box, they just dealt with it, which they did. But they weren't offering enough going forward, and then just a magnificent goal for Jason Brown. But yeah, I mean, what a turnaround for Callum Davidson, because I genuinely worried for him at the start of the season. I thought he was going to be under a massive pressure, and he has turned it around, and performances have been a lot better. And I keep going back to it. You've mentioned it, I've mentioned it, Dave's mentioned it. Nicky Clark has made a huge difference to that team. He really has. And Stevie May and Nicky Clark, that partnership is absolutely helping St Johnstone get out of where they were. And to be sitting 5th in the league at the moment, I think it's brilliant what he's done. It really is.
And now they've got to build in that, Graham. But they head to Paisley on Wednesday night to face at Millen.
Yeah, the Battle of the Sainties, difficult game. But if you're Callum Davidson, you've got to look at the build on that. I mean, what more confidence can you get that you've just beaten Rangers at McDermott Park? You can't get a more kind of higher confidence than that. And that was I think there was a stat going on. That was, what was it you said? That was St Johnstone's first win over Rangers?
2017.
I mean, that's just crazy, that stat. So yeah, they have to build on that now. It will be a difficult game against St Mirren, but they've got to build on that. So I think if you're St Johnstone, you celebrate tonight, you go away, you refresh, reshape, and get back to winning again on Wednesday night, because today has been a huge victory for them, but they have to build on that.
Yeah, December 2017. So get a month out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy stat, but that'll give them a lot of confidence. It really will. They have to build on that now. You know, if they lose on Wednesday, then that'll be kind of one step forward, 2 steps back. So they have to build on that. But, you know, what a confidence boost that is. Fantastic win for them today. And I think they deserved it as well.
And even though they're saying 2017 game, I think that's at McDermott Park because Oils, maybe they're not taking into consideration the cup games as well, because Johnson beat Rangers at Ibrox in the Scottish Cup.
They did, and was that not the game that Xander Clark scored the goal?
Yep. It was extra time, or was it no the last minute of the game, or did it go to extra time? I can't remember.
I think it went to extra time. Actually, I'm sure that's the game that Xander Clark scored anyway. But
yeah, it was a corner kick. I'm sure
it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a crazy start, but you have to be confident now. What a result that is today, and they have to build on that. And I think they deserved that second half performance. They were much better. They really put Rangers under a lot of pressure, but it's a great victory. Really, really deserved. And I mean, what a turnaround for Cam Davidson.
Yeah, no, exactly. But sadly, all the headlines will be about the away team tomorrow, Rangers. But I mean, St. Johnson actually played well, and I thought that the defence of St. Johnson held up well today in the second half, because the Rangers were throwing balls into the box, but the defence get very good today.
They did, and I mentioned him constantly, and I thought he was brilliant. You know, he put his body on the line. They all did. You know, anytime Rangers tried to get a shot away, it was getting blocked. It was just great defending from Johnson. That's what you want to see as a fan. You want to see your team throwing bodies on the line, showing that you want to have that desire to win. And I thought St. Johnson did that today. That back three of Constantine, Mitchell and McGowan all did that. Thought they were great. Midfield-wise, I thought they worked really, really hard. You know, Hallberg I thought was really good. So it was just an all-round good performance for St. Johnson. But you're right. You know, all the talk's going to be about Rangers. And I get it, but it really shouldn't be. You have to give credit to St. Johnson because that's a brilliant, brilliant victory.
Witherspoon actually played well as well, Grim.
He did. He tired towards the end. They put a lot into that game. I think there was a moment later on in the game where I think if he had the pace, he would have maybe got away for the defender, but he was just knackered, which you can understand because they put a lot into that. But I think St. Johnson all round put in a great, great shift, and that's got to please the manager.
Oh.
Chance for Hearts. Really good opportunity. That's a good save for Liam Kelly again. It's a chance for Andy Halliday. Fantastic strike and a great save for Liam Kelly.
I don't think it is I don't think it was a save, Grim.
I thought it was. It's a corner. He's given it. It's a save.
All right, okay. Oh, well, ignore me then. Yeah, it's a corner. Yeah, but that's two decent effort. Hearts has get the Motherwell goal, Grim.
Yeah, Hearts have actually looked okay so far. They are creating chances, offside. They are creating chances. They're looking decent, but they need to get that first goal. It's a decent crowd at Tynecastle as well. So, I mean, the last time we played Motherwell at Fir Park, we won 3-0, but Motherwell battered us that day. They just couldn't score. But this has started off a little bit differently. Hearts have played on the front foot. They are looking decent. Robert Snodgrass has done okay. Personally, I would have kept Connor Smith in the team, but it's been a decent start for Hearts so far.
We need to speak about Van Bronckhorst now. We said on Friday, me and Dave were saying on Friday that if you would need to give Giovanni Van Bronckhorst up to basically the World Cup and see what happens. But I mean, there's one game down, 2 to go, Graham.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if they will sack Van Bronckhorst. I think he's probably got credit in the bank for what he did last season in Europe. But if you're a Rangers or Celtic fan, the only thing that matters is winning that league. And Rangers are 7 points behind and not playing well. So it's a major, major concern for Rangers. I mean, if they were to then get beat by Hearts, hopefully, then I think probably the time might be to make a change. But just watching Hearts on the attack here again.
Offside, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's a good save again by Liam Kelly, actually.
I know, yeah, Andy Halliday.
I think Van Bronckhorst is under a lot of pressure just now, but Wednesday now becomes huge. If they lose to Hearts, then I think he probably will get sacked. But as you say, at the time to make the change is during the World Cup. Get a new manager in, see what he's got. But yeah, it's not looking great for him just now.
You mentioned this earlier on, Graham, and I think that's a difference between Celtic and Rangers this season. I mean, take yesterday, for instance, but also last week when a couple of weeks ago when Celtic went up to St Johnstone. St Johnstone's what is it? They equalised in the last minute, and Celtic pulled it out of the bag. They pulled out the bag yesterday as well against Dundee United. That we're going to move on to speak about in a minute. But that's the difference between Celtic and Rangers at the moment, Graham.
It is, and even if you look at the Hearts game, they're 1-0 up, 2-1 down, get to 2-2, go 3-2 up, Hearts get back to 3-3. And again, Celtic just go win the game. That's what they do. They don't, Ange Postecoglou has spoken about it, they don't stop, and they don't. And even when Celtic are maybe drawing the game, like they were yesterday, I never ever thought when United got back level, I never ever thought Celtic wouldn't win that game because there's an inevitability about Celtic that they're just going to score, and they don't just score one, they score two. So yeah, Celtic have that. Rangers for me don't. I never thought today at any point that Rangers were going to get back in that game. Even at 2-1, they weren't doing enough to get back in that. So there is a huge, huge difference between Celtic and Rangers, and I think it shows every week. And as I keep on going back to be 7 points behind already, it's a massive gap, and I just don't see Celtic losing that.
I mean, even the fact that okay, Rangers had a lot of the ball in the first half, but if that was Celtic, I think they would have been a few goals up going into half time, and that's a bit worrying if you're a kind of Rangers fan.
I think what I would say as well is, and I don't want to pick on him, but I'm going to anyway. But if you look at the likes of, chance Motherwell just wide. Yeah. But if you look at the likes of, take Ryan Kent and take Jota. Jota, you get a final product. Jota will score. Jota will create something. He's always looking for the ball. He's a constant threat. You look at Ryan Kent, I don't really see that for him. So there's a massive difference between Kent and Jota as well. And just all over the pitch, Celtic are far, far stronger, far superior, a better bench. Haksabanovic scores twice yesterday. Celtic just all over just looks so much stronger than Rangers. And I think Dave mentioned this. It comes back to recruitment. Rangers didn't recruit well enough. And I think that's been shown.
I'm just watching the game as well, Grim. 26 minutes going 0-0. It's probably a very open game, this.
It is. I'm enjoying watching this, but I think, again, defensively, Hearts look worried every time somebody comes forward. When a ball goes into the box, it is a worry. We desperately need Halkett and Ribbles back in that team because as much as Toby Sibbitt's been good recently, and Alec Cochrane I do like, but Alec Cochrane's a left back. He's not a centre back. We need these guys back because any ball that comes in the box, we look really vulnerable. So, but the thing for me that's pleasing is we look a threat going forward, which is very pleasing. I think Robert Snodgrass has been very good, actually. That's a great ball.
Yeah.
Oh, he's unlucky with that. Really good ball again for Snodgrass.
Yeah, no, exactly. Still 0-0 in that game. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see if Rangers loses a first goal on Wednesday night or make a bad pass or whatever, because you're guaranteed that there's going to be 50,000 there, Graham, so they'll be on the back from the kickoff.
They will be, but that's what you get when you play for, the bigger teams like Celtic and Rangers. You have to win. You cannot afford to get beat or even draw. So, yeah, if Hearts could score the first goal at Ibrox, which would be a first for a while, it would be interesting to see how Rangers would react. But, Hearts go there without any real pressure on them because we are awful in Glasgow. I would like to think we'll get better at that, but, it's going to be interesting. Rangers have got to come out on the front foot and really win that game. But as I keep on saying, I think it's over already. I just don't see Celtic losing this lead. I think they're far too strong. So, yeah, I think the league's done already, and we're not even at Christmas yet.
Yeah, no, exactly. Let's move on then to speak about Celtic. Will come to the VAR incident, and Graham hopes will never come to the VAR decision. And this is the difference, Graham. Right? Celtic now are 31 unbeaten at home domestically, and all cup competitions as well.
Yeah, I mean, Celtic are relentless, especially at home. Again, as I said, when it got to 2-2 yesterday, I never really felt that they were not going to win that game. they're just too good going forwards. They get the goal, obviously, there's 2 goals from Kyogo. It's a great finish from Abada as well for the 4th goal. And, great for Haksabanovic to score a couple of goals as well. I think maybe Birighitti could do better with a 2nd goal. But yeah, Celtic were dominant yesterday. United managed to get 2 goals. I know we'll talk about it, but that penalty is never a penalty in a million years. So yeah, Celtic very, very strong again. And transfer Hearts, he needs to play that in now.
No, he should have played it earlier, Graham.
He has to pass that quicker.
Yeah.
Hearts on the attack again, Snodgrass. Yeah, but yeah, Celtic at home. Decent ball in, good header away. Yeah, Celtic at home, very, very impressive, and another good performance from Postecoglou's side.
Yeah, no, job done. As you say, Haksabanovic scored in 6 and 34 minutes. Dundee United got a goal from the VR. It wasn't a penalty. Fletcher scored the goal. He had a good job to do. He done it. He scored it from the penalty spot. And halfway through the second half, I said to the guy sitting next to me, why is Postecoglou changing the front too? Well, I had to eat humble pie after that, didn't I? Because obviously Kyogo scored and Abada scored, so I had to. But the humble pie was nice actually, up to that point. And I don't know about you. I know you only saw the highlights last night. I don't know if you get a chance to see the game yesterday, full. But I thought that VR incident in the first half changed the whole complexion of the game, especially the first half, because he had to go in 5 minutes at the end of the first half, Graham, right? But all that stoppage time was kind of like interrupted any flow to the game whatsoever.
It did. I mean, Celtic were pretty much dominant. The penalty comes out absolutely. I mean, the handball rule again is just ridiculous. It really is. I mean, I don't know what Bernabe's supposed to do. He's got his back turned. He's jumping up. You can't jump with your hands basically by your side. It's not a penalty. So I can completely understand why Postecoglou's raging. I mean, the thing is, if that was the other end, would Celtic be claiming for it? Of course you would. As a football fan, you claim for everything, but it wasn't a penalty. Bernabe can't do anything about that. And yeah, it is adding on far too much time. It gets spoken about too much now. You're adding on 5 or 6 minutes for these VR decisions. See if a VR decision isn't done within about a minute, then it's not clear and obvious. It's meant to be clear and obvious. Clear and obvious is not 3 minutes.
They should get to put a time limit on it, Glenn.
They should. Clear and obvious is not 3 or 4 minutes. That's not clear and obvious. But that wasn't a penalty. A chance for Hearts here. Oh, he should score. Oh, another chance for Hearts. Oh, he's going to score. Oh, that's so frustrating. That's why Cammy Devlin doesn't score many goals. He should score. It's a mistake from Motherwell at the back. Really poor play for Liam Kelly. He basically chips up in the air. It's one. Oh. I think it's by Shanklin wins it.
He's actually scored twice there, Grim.
Yeah, I mean, he smashes it straight at the keeper. He's got to do better there. I think he actually should play in Shanklin, to be honest. But that's why Devlin doesn't score many goals. He should score. A really good chance for Hearts there. But yeah, I mean, VR just takes far too long. Again, we look at one on Friday at Aberdeen game. That I don't know about 5 or 6 minutes. It's just ridiculous. VAR, I mean, we keep going back to it. It's not VAR that's the problem. It's the referees that are looking at these monitors. And again, it was just ridiculous that took far too long yesterday. But again, it's not a penalty.
Do you think football is turning into American football in a way in terms of the time it's take?
It is. It's taken far too long. You know, as I keep going back to, if VAR, if you can't make a decision within a minute, then it's not clear and obvious. It shouldn't take that long. You shouldn't have to look 3 or 4 times to see if it's a penalty or not. And again, I mean, you didn't have to see that more than twice to see that it's not a penalty. Bernabe has his back turned. He can't do anything about that. It's not a penalty.
Talking about a VR, there's a VR decision at Tynecastle, Grim.
Whatever it was, it's not been given. So
yeah, I can't see they're not showing you the replay, but it was a free kick to Motherwell, but It came to it's a corner kick actually to Marvel. But yeah, I mean, I felt as though the VR decisions are now going to spoil every game.
They already are. We're only 3 weeks in, and I can't be bothered with it already. It's just taking too long, and every week you're just getting really poor decisions. I mean, Postecoglou spoke about, I think it was the fact that they didn't get the penalty against Hearts a few weeks ago. Again, I said at the time, even as a Hearts fan, that was a penalty. They didn't get it. Yesterday wasn't a penalty, so I can understand Postecoglou's frustration. But this handball rule is very subjective. You see with VR though, if a decision goes in your way, you love it. If it doesn't, you hate it. But I just hate it anyway. I just don't think it's helping at all.
I mean, see the one Michael Smith one a few weeks ago, right? For me, I don't know about you. You might have a different opinion on this, right? But for me, that doesn't need VR, Graham, because everybody knows. And I was watching it in the house, and you know, it's a definite penalty, and I'm sitting miles away from Tynecastle, and you know.
You can always get a kind of see when you watch a player's reaction. You can always tell, and you watch Michael Smith's reaction. He was very sheepish. He thought that was a penalty, so that just shows you everything you need to know. Chance for Motherwell there. It's a decent opportunity to ball in the box, and it's a header just wide again. That ball in the box really causes problems for Hearts. But yeah, I just think VAR for me at the moment, we're only 3 weeks in, and I just think some of these decisions of, I know we'll get to the Aberdeen one very shortly, the penalty, that's not a penalty either. So I just think the referees this was brought in to help referees out, and for me, they're just making even poorer decisions. So I just think it hasn't helped at all for me. I think it's been very, very poor, and I would get it in the bin already after 3 weeks. I hate it.
I'm going to say something controversial here, right? It's not like me at all, right? But do you think the match officials likes VR because it puts all the attention on them?
I don't know. I think when the referee goes to monitor, it's there to help, but I don't know if they're seeing every angle because it doesn't look like they are. Because some of these decisions that are getting made, like that one on Friday for the Aberdeen one, you can see different angles. That's not a penalty. So I just don't know what the referees are watching. And again, if you slow anything down and you show a still photo, anything's going to look worse than it is. But for me, that one yesterday, you don't need 2 or 3 looks at that. You only need one look to see that's not a penalty. Bernabe's got his back turned. There's nothing he can do about it. It's not a penalty. And that could have changed the whole reflection of the game. I just think it's not working just now. And, you know, something needs to change very quickly because, as I said on Friday, Ian Maxwell did say that it was going to be horrendous when it first came in. He wasn't wrong because it is.
Yeah, but what he never said was, Graham, it's going to be horrendous all season, you know. But hopefully not. I mean, Postecoglou says after the game, Graham, Celtic never stopped, and I mean that's what you say as well. And they never with Kyogo and Abada scoring the goals.
Yeah, I mean, you're bringing on guys like Kyogo and Abada. I think that was Kyogo's 10th goal of the season. He's such a threat. I mean, I would say though, it's a free header. It's a really good corner kick. Actually, it's a really good set piece, but it's a free header from Kyogo.
Oops, sorry, Graham. I think this might go to VR in the Hearts game. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's George Grant. It's a very heavy challenge.
Yeah.
I think has he got booked? I don't know if he's got booked or it's a red card. He is going for the ball, but he is late. I think that's a potential red card. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, no.
Has he been sent off? I don't know. He's still on the pitch.
He's still on the pitch. Oh, I don't know if they're going to talk about VR. I don't know if this will go to VR. I'm not sure, but the game stopped.
I think he has been sent off, actually. I think he has been sent off.
Has
I don't know if they're checking VR to check if it is, but I think he has been sent off.
But we'll see how long this takes, Graham. That's a shocking tackle.
I mean, the ball is there to be won, but there's no need for him to go in like that.
Yeah, I think he's been sent off, Graham.
He's very, very late. Yeah, he has been sent off. And to be honest, I've no complaints. It's a red card. It's a really daft challenge.
Okay, he's off. But
that's his second red card this season. He got sent off against Zurich as well for that dive in the second half. I mean, I've not been impressed with George Grant this season, I'll be honest, and that's a really poor challenge. He doesn't need to make it. Stay on your feet. He doesn't need to make that challenge. It's a poor challenge.
And that Graham changes the whole game now.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Hearts were playing well for the first 38 minutes. They were, decent going forward, but that does change the game. It's a poor challenge for George Grant. He's high, he's late, he's reckless. He doesn't need to make the challenge. So, yeah, I mean, Robin Nielsen's not happy, but he should be raging at George Grant because it's a very poor challenge.
Yeah, so, again, I mean, if you think if you think it was a very open game in 11 men, I think it will be a very, very open game now, Grim. 10 against 11.
Well, you've got to think Motherwell will win this game now. They won't have a better chance. And against 10 men, they've got to have a chance now. But George Grant, absolutely crazy.
And I mean, Hearts has had their chances, Graham.
They have. We could have been a couple of goals up, let's be honest. We've missed chances. Shanklin should score. Devlin should score. Halliday probably should score. We've missed chances, but that red card just changes the game, and it's daft. There's no need for it from George Grant. Stay on your feet and win the ball. It's a stupid, stupid challenge. And if we lose this game, which we may well do now, then we've only got ourselves to blame. And I'd be blaming George Grant. It's a poor challenge.
I think if you were Liam Fox, you would be grateful of the VR kind of as giving you the penalty, because Dundee United was never in that game yesterday, Graham.
Yeah, they weren't. I mean, they managed to score 2 goals for the penalty, and then obviously the goal from, I think it's a goal from Dylan Levitt. Watt tries to claim it, but it wasn't his. So yeah, they weren't really in the game, but they got a couple of goals out of it. But Celtic Celtic were dominant. They deserved to win, and to get those 2. People look at that and think, "Oh, Celtic might have been lucky." They weren't. Celtic dominated the game, and those 2 goals were quite fair. And it's a great finish from Mabada. Let's be honest, it's a fantastic finish. So, yeah, Celtic were very dominant, 7 points clear, and they just looked very, very impressive.
I mean, let's go back to the VRs again. I know we don't want to spend I mean, that's funny because obviously I wasn't on the show last week, Graham, but for the last few weeks, all we've actually spoke about is VR on the show. But I mean, when you see the corner kick again, who was it again? Who committed the penalty for Celtic again?
It was Bernabe.
Bernabe. He didn't know much about it. In fact, he didn't know anything about it. I mean, and also, how can you jump without your arms, Graham?
I know, and he's got his back to goal. I think it's just it's a ridiculous decision. And
I mean, it was different if his arm was out a wee bit, but they weren't.
I mean, if you try and jump, your arms are going to be out, especially if you've got your back to the play. It's impossible to jump straight on. So I just don't understand why that's been given, even with VAR. You don't need to see that more than once to see, that's not a penalty and change your mind. It's a really, really poor decision. And I can understand Postecoglou's frustration. And you can see Bernabe looks kind of perplexed. It's like, why is that been given? What could I do? So, it's a very poor decision for me.
I mean, I say at the time, in that real time, I was at the game, and it wasn't a penalty. I saw replays at half time. Not a penalty. And then I came home last night and I saw the highlights. And guess what? Still wasn't a penalty.
No, and again, you've got these wallopers, I'm going to call them, on sports scenes. So, no, it's a penalty. No, it's not. I'm sorry, that's never a penalty.
Yeah.
You're an ex-professional footballer and you think that's a penalty? Nah, not at all. Not a chance.
I mean, it's different if Bernabe was jumping with his arm out. Then you could say, aye, okay, yeah. But I mean, so if you're a kit man listening to the show, invent pockets to put in your shots, and tell your players to put your hands in your pockets when they're taking the corner kick, or else fold your arms and jump.
I mean, you're going to be getting these every week if that's the case. And I think you mentioned that a couple of weeks ago as well, and you were right as well. Probably the first time ever. But
thanks.
That's all right. But you made a really good point, the fact that any player is just going to basically hit the ball at someone's hand and try and get a penalty, I think that's absolutely right. You know, I think that's absolutely spot on. I think any player is going to try and get an advantage by hitting a ball against the player's hand and going, "That's a penalty, referee." You know, the law is ridiculous.
And no, what I noticed as well, Glenn, yesterday, right? Celtic were 1-2-1 at the time. Dundee United was still wasting time, and I've got a theory why they're wasting time for was they're only one VAR away from a penalty.
Probably. I mean, if you're Liam Fox, you're probably quite happy with the fact you've not been absolutely hammered like what happened at Park Tannadice the last time. They did put in a spirited performance, but Celtic did dominate the game. But if you're Liam Fox, you're quite happy with that. But yeah, I mean, they were time wasting, which I kind of understand. But I mean, you got beat 4-2 by Celtic.
Oh, goal for Hearts, Graham.
Yes! Get in there!
I think it's Mr. Your pal Andy Halliday. I'm not very sure. We will see. Yes, it is.
I'll tell you what. Robert Snodgrass takes a fantastic set piece. It's a great ball in. And it's a really good header again for Andy Halliday. You know, he scored against Ross County. That's a great header. He scored against Ross County last week with a really good header. He's done it again today. It's a free header. It's a great ball for Snodgrass. It's a free header. He loops it over the defender on the line. Kelly can't get him near it. That is a brilliant header for Halliday. Really good header.
He got well for the goal as well, you know. So 1-0 to Hearts. There you go, Graham. What do we know? Hearts are getting to 10 men and winning.
I know. VR's not chucked that off. That's a surprise. No, it's a great header. Brilliant header for Halliday, who's not renowned for his heading ability, and now he's got 2 in the space of a week. Brilliant.
And a good time to get it as well, Graham, because it's just going on 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a couple of minutes because of Grant getting sent off and all that. But yeah, 1-0 to Hearts. But yeah, I mean, the VR, once again, I mean, they need to, I mean, I had Kara for last night in sports scene, right? They showed you a rule, and I was busy saying, well, is that a new rule you've just made up this week? Well, it'll be a different rule next week. Yeah,
I mean, where these pundits, I don't even want to mention them, but honestly, it's just, it's not a penalty. I mean, you cannot jump with your back to the play and that be given as a handball. It's impossible to do that. I would love to see anyone try that. It's just not a penalty. And for ex-pros to say that's a penalty, I'm sorry, but you're living on Cloud Cuckoo land, mate. It's not a penalty.
And it wasn't just one pundit, it was all 3 of them.
And actually, the other thing as well, and we've not mentioned this as well, for me, there's a potential red card in there as well for the challenge on, who was it? Was it Giakoumakis? There was a high foot. I think it was the first half, potentially.
Yeah, right in front of the ref. Yeah, I forgot about that in the first half.
For me, that's a potential red card. And that wasn't given either.
But he never actually spoke to the guy. Or you know. Yeah, I forgot about that instant. That was in the first half, right in front of the ref, and they never saw it.
Again, that's very high. It's very late. It could have caused a serious injury. So again, that could have been a red card, and that wasn't given either.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, it's a fun out game sometimes, but yeah, I mean, what you would say is a good job, well done for Celtic. Yeah.
100%. A really, really good win for Celtic. A really dominant performance. I know the kind of controversy there, but it was a dominant performance and 7 points ahead. You know, Celtic just looked stronger and stronger, and I just don't see. I know they got beat by St Mirren a few weeks ago, but they just look very strong again.
Marlow has got a corner, and Andy Halliday. I don't know why Andy Halliday is getting annoyed, Glenn, because it was.
I think he thought it was a push on him actually from the back.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much in that, to be honest.
Nah, corner to Marlow anyway, but into stoppage time at the end of the first half, and I think I'll bet them because the ball goes out of play.
It's another corner. It's another corner.
The ref is doing that famous point, Graham. So it might be a VR check. I don't know what it's actually checking.
No, it's a corner. He's given a
No,
corner.
but he's checking something.
No, there's nothing there. He's given the corner.
Oh no, yeah, okay, yeah, it's
Great defending there. And I think that's half time. Yep, half time, 1-0 Hearts, half time.
good scout, yeah. So Muskie Duffy will be happy, and they had with the all-important goal. And up till Grant was sent off, it was a very kind of even game, Graham.
So what they're walking off the pitch, but there's a lot of
fans.
A lot of debate about something here. Whether it's the red card, whether it's a red card, I don't know. But Andy Halliday's complaining about something.
Oh no, I think he's actually pointing to the corner, Graham.
He's complaining about something right at the end of the half here, but I don't know what he's complaining about. So yeah, but it is 1-0 Hearts at half time. Andy Halliday goal machine.
Yeah, better than Goa, Andy Halliday.
I wouldn't go that far.
There you go. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, job done for Celtic, and then obviously today's result, St Johnson done Celtic a wee favour.
Yeah, they certainly did. Just a magnificent win for St Johnson, and Callum Davis has got to be delighted with that. He really has. And as I keep going back to Jason Brown getting his first ever goal, and what a way to get it.
Yeah, no, exactly. So next up for Celtic, they will be on action on Wednesday night against Motherwell away, and Dundee United. I'm not actually sure who Dundee United plays this week. I will tell you in a wee minute or two. It's a bit weird looking at the table, Graham. Dundee United's bottom.
Yeah, and I mean. They play
Kilmarnock on Wednesday.
I mean, I don't think they've played that badly in quite a few of the games since Liam Fox has come in, but they're just not getting results. Again, I thought they were decent yesterday. They were compact. They didn't, as much as Celtic dominated, they had a decent shape about them. So, I think United are going to be in trouble this season. I think we'll be honest. I'm glad Dave's not on the show. But I think United probably could be in trouble this season. They're just not winning enough games. They had that magnificent win against Aberdeen a few weeks ago at Tannadice, 4-0. But I just think defensively, I think they're still a little bit fragile at times.
Yeah, no, exactly. So let's move on to another VAR incident. It happened on Friday night. Aberdeen won by 4-1 against Hibs. You'll be happy, Graham, but if you were a Hibs fan, you would be very concerned about this performance. Obviously, again, we'll come back to speak about the VAR penalty. That wasn't a penalty in a minute, but I guess felt though Aberdeen was too strong for Hibs on Friday night.
I thought first half Hibs were the better sides. They created a few decent chances. Kucherev had a couple of decent chances. I thought they were playing very well. Aberdeen at home, we spoke about this on Friday. Aberdeen are a very good side at home. They score a lot of goals, and again, they've done that this weekend. Hibs, it is a worry because away from home, they've only won 2 games away from home this season. Again, they lost 6 against Celtic. They've lost 4 on Friday. So defensively, it's a worry for Lee Johnson. Again, his interviews after the game, he was kind of critical after the game. First half they were good. Second half they were very poor, and he was quite critical, which I kind of understand. But if you keep criticising your team, you're not going to get the best out of them. But yeah, there's no doubt for me the penalty decision changes the game. It's not a penalty. Duke. I've got to watch what I say here, but even if there was a slightest touch with David Marshall's knee, there is no need for Duke to do a Swan Lake. It's ridiculous. It's not a penalty in a million years. There is no touch, and he goes down. And even with VAR, they still got that wrong. It's another poor decision. And I don't know what referees are looking at. Again, the angle that he sees, I don't know what he sees, but it's not a penalty in a million years. I get the fact that they went back to the retake. I think that was right. Marshall's off his line, and Majowski scores the second one. But it's not a penalty. It's just not a penalty.
Yeah, So Aberdeen had the job to do, and it was a very professional performance. I had to ask them and Dave might laugh or kind of whatever, but the director's box. I don't know if you know what I'm going to see here, right? But Jim Goodwin is suspended, right? But it's just actually sitting behind the dugout, so he's not a million miles away.
No, he's not. You could hear him shouting instructions. I think it was after possibly the second goal. I'm not sure, but you could hear him shouting instructions like right next to the players. It was very bizarre, but I mean, I don't know how these things work where you're allowed to sit, but yeah, he was very close to the action. He was technically in the stand, but he was very close to the action.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Aberdeen, that's been a few times I've seen them at home this season. They've been looking very impressive. Apart from going to Ibrox last weekend, Glenn.
Yeah, I thought second half they were very good. They really created a lot of chances. Majowski's now got 11 goals for the season all competitions. He's been a great signing for Aberdeen. For me, the standout was Leighton Clarkson. I thought he was excellent. As I say, I've seen him a few times for Liverpool under 21s. He's a very, very good player. Really composing the ball, full of energy, great passer of the ball. And I thought he was great. And that fourth goal, what a back heel that is. Just sheer quality for the lad. Took about three Hibs players out of the game with that goal. It's a great goal. Ramadani again, good finish for the third goal. I think it was deflected, but Aberdeen's second half were very, very impressive. And it was a great win for Aberdeen. They're sitting third in the league, 22 points, looking very, very strong at home. The away form is maybe a slight worry, but at home they just look very, very strong. As David mentioned a few times, they look very good at home.
And I remember the last time that a manager came out and slagged his players. Was it a Mr. Neil Lennon at Hibs?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think Lee Johnson, I can understand at times why he is critical, because I think at times Hibs do let themselves down. You look at the Celtic game, they were very, very poor. But as I say, first half on Friday, I thought they played really well. They dominated a lot of the game. They just couldn't take their chances. But then second half, they kind of fell apart again once Aberdeen get that second goal. Then they go 3-0 down. They get the goal back. But as I say, Leighton Clarkson tops up for a great goal. But I think Johnson, he's got to be satisfied, because Hibs are sitting fourth at the moment. He's got to be satisfied with that. But away form has been very poor. As I say, they've only won 2 games away from home. They concede far too many goals. So that's a huge concern for Johnson, I think.
The Livingston's got a very difficult game on Wednesday night again against Aberdeen. Hibs is at home against Ross County, Glenn, on Tuesday night, sorry.
Yeah, Hibs got to look to win that game at home. Ross County coming off the back of a really good result yesterday, their first home win, I think, of the season. So that's a huge 3 points for Malky Mackay. So it's going to be a tough game. But at Easter Road, Hibs look a very different team. They played St Mirren last week, hammered them 3-0, played really well. So at home, Hibs are a very good side. Away from home, it's the one where it's got to be concern for Johnson. They're not picking up enough points away from home. And when they seem to lose goals, they lose really poor goals. Again, they lose 4 goals at Pittodrie after losing 6 goals at Celtic Park. It's not great. But at home, I think it's where Hibs are going to look at to pick up points. And you've got to be looking at to pick up 3 points against Ross County. But it'll be a tough game. It will be a really tough game.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's good to see it's good to see Aberdeen having a full house on the Friday night as well. I think it was 17,000 at the game, and that was including Dave Smith.
Yeah, it created a really good atmosphere. I just thought that the atmosphere at Pittodrie can be really good. I think it is a really good stadium to go to, and the Aberdeen fans made it very, very difficult for Hibs. I thought they got right on the players. They helped the team through that game. I think certainly first half when Hibs put a lot of pressure on them. So yeah, the Aberdeen fans are a very passionate group away from home. The crowd they take away from home is unbelievable. So yeah, they're trying to make Pittodrie a fortress, and that's shown. They've had some great results at Pittodrie this season. And that's another great performance, great result. And yeah, Aberdeen are looking very, very good.
Let's move on now to speak about another Friday night game, Graham. And you mentioned David Martindale. Why is he not mentioned about if there's any job vacancies coming up? You might find it in a few weeks' time, because again they went away from home And I forgot to mention to you, Grim, on Friday night when we were talking about the Kamal Livingston game, this was a plastic pitches derby.
Yeah, well, I don't really want to talk about plastic pitches, but listen, it's a great result for Livingston, especially when they're 1-0 down and then 2-1 down. They showed a lot of determination to come back from that. David Martindale is just such a likeable guy, a really good manager. He gets the best out of what he's got. It's a very tight-knit group at Livingston. I thought Bruce Anderson was great on Friday, a fantastic goal, to get level, really good finish. And I thought Livingston showed a lot of heart and determination to get back in that game. Joe Wright scores 2 goals for Kilmarnock. And I thought Kilmarnock might have been on the verge of winning that game, but it's a really disappointing result for Kilmarnock. A great result for Livingston. As I keep on saying, David Martindale, for me, should be a bigger club than Livingston. I know Dave mentioned this on Friday about why he doesn't get these jobs, but I just think Martindale is such a great, great character, a really likeable guy, and he gets the best out of a team that, let's be honest, doesn't have a lot of money. They've got to work within their means, and he does that brilliantly.
And I mean, you mentioned Joe Wright is scoring his first goal for Kilmarnock on Friday night. It's good to see him getting the first goal for Kilmarnock, but especially after 4 minutes in the game, good start for Kilmarnock.
It was a great start. Joe Wright is a big laddie, really good in the air, really good leap, and it was a good header. And he was a potential target for Hearts. We didn't think he was good enough. We let him go to Kilmarnock, and he's actually done okay so far. He's defending well. He's obviously got a couple of goals on Friday. So, yeah, Joe Wright was very good, but defensively, Kilmarnock just looked all over the place. Those goals they lost were so, so poor. And that last goal that Livingston scored, an own goal from Chris Stokes, his body positioning is all over the place. It's a really poor goal to lose, and he didn't have a great second half. He gave away the penalty for the handball. He gives away an own goal. So it wasn't great from Chris Stokes, but for Livingston, what a performance away from home. To pick up those 3 points, and now I think they're sitting 7th. I think they'll be fine this season. I've already said that. I think they'll be absolutely fine. Where they can break into that top 6, I'm not sure, but I think they'll be absolutely fine this season. I thought Joe Nubla again offered a lot, but Bruce Anderson for me again was a standout. I thought he was great. Really good goal, really good performance, and just a great win for Livingston.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier on about Bruce Anderson, played well and decent goal. I mean, this must be the weekend for brilliant goals, because we saw James Brown scoring a goal today, a brilliant goal, and the Bruce Anderson score on Friday night. What a cracker on Bonfire weekend, Graham.
It was, and a lot of folks say he's not known for that. He just gets the ball about 25 yards out and decides, I'm just going to hit this. And it's a great strike. Fantastic strike. Beats the keeper. Absolutely no chance. And Anderson does that having his locker. He's a really talented footballer. Really good player. It's maybe been a bit unfortunate with injuries. But yeah, it's a great finish. And I think that kind of partnership of Nubley and Anderson is the way to go for Livingston. It's kind of a little and large combination, but they look very impressive. And I just thought Livingston away from home to be 2-1 down and then win that game 3-2 showed a lot of character. Great result, great performance, and a fantastic 3 points of Livingston on the road. Kilmarnock is a slight worry for me, though.
Yeah, and as for the other side of the fence, Kilmarnock's in a bit of bother. And do you think that, I was going to say to you, Graham, that we brought you a few weeks ago when we were doing the show, Derek McInnes signed a new deal for Kilmarnock. Was it a 4-year deal? I think it was. Was Kilmarnock too soon about signing the new deal? Because I don't know about you, but I think McInnes will be under a bit of pressure.
I think he will, but I don't think it helps the fact that Lafferty has obviously got that massive 10-game ban. That hasn't helped. I've said this before. They don't score enough goals. They scored 2 goals on Friday, but there's a centre-half that scored 2. They just don't score enough goals for me. I don't think they've got enough up front. Ollie Shaw, again, as I said, for me, is more a championship striker. I don't think he's good enough for the Premier League. So, yeah, they don't score enough goals. And defensively, the goals they lost on Friday, one's a penalty, the other 2 are very poor defensively for me. Yes, it is a great strike from Anderson, but nobody goes out to block him. So there is a worry there. I think McInnes, he is a good manager. We know that from his Aberdeen days. I just think giving him that long-term deal, it is a risk. because I genuinely think Kilmarnock could be in real trouble this season. I don't think they'll be relegated straight off. I think United might be, but I think Kilmarnock could be in that second bottom place for me.
Seriously, you think Dundee United will be in bother?
I think they will be. I think United could go down. I just think, although they have had decent performances, I think they lose too many goals, and I just don't think they're scoring enough. Now, again, I'll go back to, I thought yesterday they were good. You know, they worked hard against Celtic, but when you get to 2-2, you've got to try and see that out, and they couldn't because Celtic are just too strong. But I do worry for United. You know, that Jack Ross experiment didn't work. They really missed Thomas Coates, who left, went to Honved, and then decided to leave. But yeah, I just think it's United are going to be in trouble this season. I think, I'll put my neck on the block here, I think United will be relegated. I just don't see enough about them that says they're going to stay up.
You've heard it here first, yeah, but I might have to disagree with you, but then again, I never saw Celtic beating them 9-0 late the other week, and then
I don't think anyone saw that, to be fair.
No, exactly. Yeah, we'll run through the games in a wee minute or two. This game's Tuesday and Wednesday this week. Let's move on to go and speak to Ross County and St Mirren. Ross County won by 3 goals to 2. That was a good game, and I think am I right in thinking that was only Ross County's third win of the season, so Ross County's kind of like struggling a wee bit, Glim.
Yeah, I mean, I think Malky Mackay has had a difficult job there. As I keep going back to, they've lost the likes of Humbo and Regan Charles Cook. I thought Awilo was outstanding yesterday. It's a brilliant win for Ross County. I thought they deserved it. It was a good game of football, actually. I think on Friday I'd said there wouldn't be a lot of goals, and there was 5, so what do I know? But yeah, a fantastic result for Ross County. Jordan White scoring his Hearts last week, scored again this week. And again, I just thought it was a really good performance for Ross County. I will say, though, Ryan Strain's free kick for St Mirren to get them back to 1-1 was outstanding. Another great goal this weekend. But, you know, Ross County needed that win. They had to get 3 points. They've been struggling a little bit. It's a huge, huge victory, and it takes a little bit of pressure off Malcolm Mackay, I think.
Yeah, maybe do you think it'll buy him a bit more time?
I think it will now. Decent ball across the box there. The Hearts Motherwell game has just kicked off, second half, Hearts in the attack. Yeah, I think it probably will. I think he has been under a bit of pressure. But see, when you lose... Oh, what a goal! What a finish that is. It's Andy Halliday again. What a strike that is, by the way. So the ball's played out wide. Barry Mackay gets it. He plays it at the box. Andy Halliday runs onto it on his left foot. He absolutely smashes it past Liam Kelly, who's got no chance. That is a sensational strike for Andy Halliday.
I've yet to see the replay of it. I'm just watching it. Now the ball comes in. And
so the ball into the box. It's Barry Mackay picks it up on the back post. He plays it to Snodgrass.
Well,
ball into the box. Halliday runs onto it and smashes it left foot, bottom corner. That is an absolutely brilliant strike. Actually, Barry Mackay tries to pick Halliday out. It's deflected into his path. It's a brilliant hit. Liam Kelly is furious at his defenders, but that's a brilliant strike for Halliday for his second of the game. And 10-man Hearts are 2-0 up through Andy Halliday's on a hat-trick. How's that happened?
Yeah.
How's that happened?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He could get the match ball, Grim.
I'll tell you, Andy Halliday, goal machine. What a finish that is. 2-0 Hearts.
And I mean, what do we know in the first half, Grim? But when we were saying, well, Grant made a horrible tackle in that game. And you said to me that Motherwell, it's a good chance for Motherwell to win the game. What do we know?
Well, it's a long way to go yet. They are still playing a one-man extra, but that's a brilliant strike for Halliday. It's almost like Hearts have come out with a sense of purpose, like they feel a bit aggrieved about red red cards. But again, I've been on Twitter, and again, a lot of Hearts fans not happy with the decision. But as a Hearts fan myself, it was a red card. It was late. It was reckless. They wanted to make it. It was a poor challenge. So I've no quarrels with that. But for Hearts to be 2-0 up with 10 men, fantastic, brilliant.
And a good start to the second half because there's only about 3 minutes gone, Grim, and 2-0 up.
Yeah, I mean, can the referee just blow for full time now, please? I'll take this.
Yeah, so Ross Kentney, it's weird because we were saying Malcolm Mackay and Ross Kentney took a small dip in terms of the performances, but they seem to have been pick it up again, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Ross Kennedy do try and play decent football. They try and get the ball wide. They try and get it in the box to Jordan White, who's now got 2 goals in 2 games. So they do try and play decent football. They just haven't had the results that maybe have matched that. And yesterday's a great victory for them. You know, it could have been when they get it, when they're 1-0 up, get back to 2-2, and then, you know, Mark O'Hara scores to make it 2-1 to St Mirren. It's a decent looping head on. You think, oh, here we go again. Another poor result for County. So to come back and win the game, it's a great result, and I think it does take a bit of pressure on Malcolm Mackay. I don't know up in the Highlands how much pressure Mackay's been under, but you know, we all know it's a results-driven business. If you don't get results, you're going to be on the back foot. So it's a great result for Ross County, a really good performance, and yeah, just a huge 3 points, which took him off the bottom of the league as well, which is another massive result.
Yeah, no, exactly. Let's run through the midweek games for you now. Obviously, we'll come back to speak about the game in question in a minute. Hearts and Motherwell. The games on Tuesday night then. Hibs and Ross County, Livingston and Aberdeen. Wednesday night we've got Dundee United, Kilmarnock, Motherwell against Celtic, Rangers against Hearts, and Midland against St Johnstone. As Graham says, the Saints on a Wednesday night. Oils, maybe it could be the Saints on a Sunday. A bit of a mouthful, that one. But there you go, that's the game. Don't forget that we will be off for the World Cup, so we'll be not having any shows on a Sunday. We'll be here on a Friday night between 5 and 7. And then after the World Cup, we'll be back to 2 shows a week on a Friday. The Friday shows and the Sunday shows as well. So let's speak about the Hearts and Motherwell game. Obviously, we're keeping people up to date with it. And we're still on air, by the way, when the game finishes as well. But 2-0 to Hearts.
Yeah, it's been it's been quite an open game, to be fair. Motherwell trying to get back in the game, but Hearts are defending quite well. I actually think Snodgrass has played really well so far today, but Motherwell coming forward. Chance, good block there, corner to Motherwell. But yeah, it's been a very open game. You know, Hearts looking dangerous, go forward, Motherwell looking dangerous as well. So this could potentially end up anything. But yeah, for Hearts to be 2-0 up, fantastic so far with 10 men.
Yeah, no, it just seemed a bit of Michael Smith is having a wee go at a Motherwell player. I always like to see that. A bit of fire in the belly, to say. Motherwell has a corner kick. Guess what's in this pick? No, still 2-0. And Hearts are on the break, Graham. Oops, trying to rob Liam Kelly, but no. Still 2-0 with Hearts. And I think that was Andy Halliday actually going for a hat trick, Graham.
I think it was Shankland.
Was it Shankland? Yeah.
Barry Mackay's down for Hearts, which is a bit of a concern. I don't know what happened there. I never saw that. Yeah, it was Shankland that had that shot.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
I don't actually mind that having a go for there. If he sees the keeper, he's like, go for it.
I think he was thinking about if he was at Motherfield, you know.
I mean, Liam Kelly is off his line. I don't mind him trying that. Just a little bit off target. But yeah, still 2-0 to Hearts after 52 minutes. Barry Mackay is now up. I think he got a bit of a kick in the face, but he's now up and walking along quite nicely. So, yeah, just a kick in the face just after a challenge, but nothing in it.
This 2-0, do you think that's a funny score, Graham? Because you would think Robin Nielsen would want a third goal just to cover it off.
Yeah, Red Scotland. Yeah, good to see you, Red. Super Sunday, guys. It certainly is for me at the moment because Hearts are 2-0 up. Yeah, it is a funny scoreline. As we saw with Rangers game earlier on, Rangers got back to 2-1 but couldn't really get back in it. I think this next goal, if there is one, is crucial. If Hearts can get it 3-0, we could win the game. But if Motherwell get it, they're right back in the game and playing with an extra man. So, yeah, next goal could be crucial here.
Yep, and we'll keep you up to date with that one. So as I said, there's midweek games on this week. Ross County away to Hibs game. Well, how do you see that one going? Because I know we spoke about earlier on. Hibs is had an okay record at home this season.
That's a chance for Hearts. Oh, Josh Janelle in the box there has to get that back to Shankland there. He's got a chance there. But, yeah, I mean, as I just mentioned, Hibs away form isn't great. So Ross County, is this at Dingwall, did you say?
Yeah, yep.
Aye. So
no, sorry, it's at Easter Road.
Easter Road, yeah. I mean, at Easter Road, I do think Hibs will win that game. Their home form's been really good. The away form's not been great. But if you're Ross County, you want to build on that result yesterday. You know, they have to try and go to Easter Road and get a victory. But at Easter Road, I think Hibs will probably win that game, but it'll be a tough game. You know, Ross County are a decent side. As I said, they've just not had the breaks. So it's a tough game, but at Easter Road, I think Hibs are a very different side for me than they are away from home.
And then you've got St Mirren against Johnson. Obviously, St Mirren will be licking their wounds in terms of getting beat yesterday, and St Johnson will be on cloud number 9.
Well, they should be. You know, a great win today for St Johnson. It's a massive victory, and you've mentioned it already, they have to build on that. Yeah. It will be difficult against St Mirren. You know, the Battle of the Sainties, as I mentioned, it will be difficult. But St Mirren have got to try and, you know, get back on the winning track after that result yesterday. I thought they actually played okay against Ross County, but, you know, again, defensively just weren't quite good enough. But it'll be a tight game. I don't want to say there won't be many goals, because the last time I said that, there was loads. So, yeah, I think it'll be a tight game. But I think, for me, I just think you've got to be looking at St Johnson winning that game on the back of that performance and result today. That's a huge result for them.
Yeah, that's changed sports ever so slightly, Graham, because Scotland was in action yesterday against Fiji in the open test, and Scotland won that. Scotland won that game by, and I've just lost my bit of paper.
28-12.
Yeah, 2012, yeah. Decent win.
It was. We spoke on Friday about the fact they really had to get a performance and a result. They've got New Zealand to come up, and they've got Argentina to come up. And as I said, there was been a lot of stuff said about Gregor Townsend. A lot of Scotland fans not happy about it. I was actually out yesterday because my phone needed repaired. So I was out in Bonnyrigg yesterday getting my phone repaired. And there was a lot of folk going to the Scotland game. A lot of young laddies and girls going to the Scotland game. So it was actually quite nice to see, you know, these young Scotland fans going to the game. So, you know, they got a result. The performance was okay, but I think the massive thing was just getting that victory. You know, they ran in 4 tries, which was great to see. So, yeah, it's a massive result, and it might take a bit of pressure off Gregor Townsend. But again, as in football, you're not ever one defeat away from folk wanting you sacked. So, again, he needs to build on that now.
Yeah. As Dave says in the chat, Hearts are playing well here, Graham. They certainly are, Dave. And 2-0 to Hearts. Still, Hearts are down to 10 men, Graham, but it doesn't kind of look like at the moment.
No, it doesn't. I mean, you think after that game in Başakşehir on Thursday, we're putting a lot into this game. I know we've made 5 changes to that team, but there's an energy about us. We're looking like we're playing with a lot of energy here. And I think, as I said, that red card for me, I think the players look like they are a bit disappointed with that, and they're really trying to get in Motherwell's faces. I think they are. I think we're looking okay going forwards. I think we're looking a threat, but it's just that defence that worries me a little bit as the ball comes in the box taken by Craig Gordon. Feed the Bears back. How Doulas what a wonderful day. It has been so far.
Yeah. Keep your comments coming in, and also, as I said, can you join us on Twitter at the Locker Room Indie. Graham, I know that we spoke about this fight a lot on the show in the past couple of weeks. But how do you assess Hearts' performance in Europe, considering they've not been in Europe for ages?
I think it was summed up by frustration. Now, as I said before, and I'll plug it again, I was in the Hearts programme not that while ago, and I did say that I thought Hearts could finish second in that group. I was clearly wrong. I think we beat the teams that I thought we would beat, i.e. RFS, twice. But the games at home for me against Başakşehir and Fiorentina were disappointing. The Fiorentina game especially, I was looking forward to that game. I thought we could get something out of that game. But the tone was set after the first 5 seconds when Fiorentina kicked off and we just sat back. We should have pressed them. We should have played with intensity. We didn't do that. So there's a lot to learn. If we get there next season, we have to do better than that. It wasn't a great performance in Europe. Chance for Motherwell. That could be a penalty. Yeah, it's a penalty, Motherwell. Ball played through, I think, is it Louis Moult? It's going to go to VAR.
You need to see that behind the goal, Graham. I'm not. But yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
I thought he got the ball, to be fair, but maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I can't really see it. Ball played through, I think Louis Moult. I'm not sure.
Yeah, look at
it's going to VAR. I'm not sure if that's a penalty or not. I can't really tell from there, but it's a penalty Motherwell anyway, unless VAR
I think he gets his hand to the ball, Graham. Craig Gordon first.
Well, that's what I thought.
Because when you see it behind the goal, you get a better view of it. But yeah, it's going to VAR, so we'll give you a decision by 9 o'clock tonight.
I actually don't think he gets a hand on the ball there, but it's hard to tell with the angle that they show.
Yeah, well, behind the goal, it's... Oh, no, it is a penalty. It is a penalty, Graham. That's a bit unfair because at the angle that you saw behind the goal, I'm sure Craig Gordon got his hand to it.
Craig Gordon's actually saying I got my hand to that. So I don't know what the angle they've seen, but it's a penalty Motherwell, 60 minutes on the clock, so a chance for Motherwell to get back in the game here. So I think it's very harsh. I haven't seen enough replays of that to see if it's a penalty or not, but it has been given.
And there's a bit of a fight in the goal. Oops, John Eddy has just... we like a bit of a fight on the Sunday on the show. Not with me and Graham, I have to say, but between Murrow and Hartson. I think this all goes back to Grant singing off in the first half, Graham.
I think it does. Feed the Bears asking what's the Hearts score. It's 2-1 to Hearts. Bear Hearts 2-0 up through double from Andy Halliday. But it was a
brilliant penalty, you would have to say, Graham. But
it is. Hearts are down to 10 men, though, because George Grant got sent off in the first half for a rather reckless challenge. So, yeah, it's 2-1 to Motherwell after 60-odd minutes. Still a long way to go in this game. But, again, I've not seen enough replays of that penalty to see if it was a penalty or not. But Motherwell back in the game, 2-1.
Louis Moulton scored the goal, I think, Graham, for...
Yeah, I think he did.
Motherwell. Yeah, I mean, I only saw the angle behind the goal. They show get one, but I'm sure Craig Gordon get one hand to the ball.
I thought that looked like that as well. Bear again says, did Arsenal win? Yeah, they beat Chelsea 1-0 earlier on.
Now, of all, so you were talking about Hearts in Europe, Graham.
Yeah, I mean, disappointing that we didn't get out the group, but I mean, we finished third. We've won 2 games. The money that's going to help with, I think I counted it was about 800,000 for the win over those 2 games. So, yeah, fantastic to get those 2 wins. But we've got a lot to learn next season in Europe if we get back there. We need to be a bit more aggressive in our play, especially at home. You know, I think we showed a bit too much respect to Başakşehir here and to Fiorentina. So, yeah, we need a lot to learn. But I mean, for our first European entry, I'm not overly disappointed. I think the fans have had a great trip over to Istanbul and Florence and Riga. So, yeah, a lot to learn, but we need to do better if we get back there again, especially at home.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then just taking some time out, Graham, because we always like to speak about other sports on the show. We spoke about rugby. Let's speak about the
2-2.
2-2, game on.
Kevin Van Veen's equalised. I thought he was offside, actually, but I don't know if I'm just checking here what's happening here. It looks like it is 2-2. It's a great strike from Van Veen, to be fair. But I don't know if he's offside.
But I guess looking at the replay as the ball comes up. No, I don't think so, Graham. I think it's brilliant goal, Graham.
I think he's offside.
Um,
It's a great strike, but I think he's offside.
no, I think it's a bit weird, Graham, because the last time I was on the show on a Sunday, Van Veen was kind of offside at for Park against Hearts. Remember? Don't you remember that show?
Dave said that's a DeCanio strike. That he's right. It was a DeCanio strike. That it has gone to VR. VR are checking this.
Yeah. I've only saw the angle once, Graham, and
it's offside. I think it's offside. I think they're still checking this, but I think it looked offside to me. I mean, this has taken far too long again.
I know.
This is the thing that I hate. It takes far too long.
Yep. Yeah, he's just offside, Graham.
He's offside. I can see that for here. He's offside.
Yep.
I don't need 2 or 3 looks at that to see he's offside. He's offside.
And so this game will go on to the small hours of tomorrow morning, Graham. I think
they're still checking this.
It's offside, Graham. Offside. It gives offside.
Yeah, it's offside. Dave says, have any of you seen the video with Tavernier falling out with the Rangers fan? No, I've not seen that.
Nope.
Haven't seen that.
So we were talking about the women's semi-final gig them in the WSL.
Yeah, there was 2. Hang on. So it was Glasgow City against Hibs and Spartans against Rangers. Hibernian beat Glasgow City by 2-1, and Rangers beat Spartans by 4-0. So it's a Rangers against Hibs final in the SPL Women's Cup. So, fantastic results for both of those teams. I don't know when that game is, but, fantastic for Hibs and Rangers in the final. So that could be a decent game, that I think.
Reg Scotland just come in for a comment, and I think I made this point yesterday to you guys in the group chat. And so as VAR, obviously it's here to stay, Graham, whether we like it or not. But is that going to, as basically Reg Scotland says, is that going to kill the game?
It already has. As I say, we're only 3 weeks in and I can't be bothered about it already. I just think it takes far too long. These decisions, like today, that's taken far too long. I think, again, the VR decision for George Grant sending off, I think, took far too long. So it's the time it takes, and the decisions for me have been very poor this weekend. I spoke about the penalty. The Celtic one wasn't a penalty yesterday. I just think it is killing the game so far. It's got a lot of improvements to be made, but I'm just not a fan of it so far. We're only 3 weeks in.
But I mean, Graham, that just isn't okay. Me and you are not at the game together, right? And we're watching the game, and we can actually tell you that is a straight red card. So incidents like that, for me, does not have to go to VAR.
I said it earlier, I'll say it again. If a decision is taking more than 1 minute, then it's not clear and obvious. So I just think that is where these decisions are taking far, far too long. If you're taking 3 or 4 minutes to decide a decision, then it's not clear and obvious. I mean, I know Dave's watching. That Aberdeen penalty on Friday is not a penalty. You don't need 2 or 3 looks at that to see it's not a penalty. Dukes conned the referee there. So it's just poor decisions getting made. And these referees going to these screens, you need to see every angle. I don't know how many angles you're getting to see these decisions, but you need to see every angle. And I just think they're very poor decisions so far this season.
Would you say that just isn't about Michael Smith with the handball at Tynecastle? But that wouldn't have to go to VR because that was a set penalty, Graham.
Of course it was. Even as a Hearts fan, I said at the time that was a penalty. And I've just mentioned it earlier. You look at Michael Smith's reaction. Michael Smith had that look of, that's a penalty. And I think everybody was stunned that it wasn't given. So that was a penalty. That was a clear penalty. The one yesterday on Bernabe is not a penalty because he's got his back to the play. He's got to jump with his hands up. It's not a penalty. So again, these decisions for me, they're just poor decisions.
Regs, so the Fiegler Bear basically came back and says, Reg, I don't like it. It should only be used for big games like cup finals, etc. I mean, I'm going to have to disagree with you, Fiegler Bear, because if you're going to use it for finals, keep it for big games. I mean, if it was up to me, don't use it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I just think there's a lot of folk are not happy with VR. But again, as I go back to it, if a decision goes for you, you love it. If it goes against you, you hate it. It's very subjective, but at the moment, I just don't think it's helping. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. VAR is not the issue. That's technology. It's the referees that are using it and what they're seeing. Because again, if you're looking at that decision yesterday, what's Bernabe supposed to do? What's he meant to do? He's got his back to the play and it hits off him. He doesn't know where the ball is. For that to be a penalty is a ridiculous decision. So I just think these decisions are very, very poor. And, they're just poor decisions. The referees are making a mess of it. And I'm not a fan of it just now.
Well, I'll go back to Postecoglou's point. Yeah, I'm sure he may get yesterday, but I'm certainly going to say that maybe it's a bit unfair for me to say this, Glenn, but I think the ref lights the limelight because nobody's speaking about the game now. Everybody's speaking about that VR decision.
Yeah, they are, and obviously if Celtic hadn't won that game, if it had been a draw, they got beat, it would have been even worse. Celtic did win the game, but the big talking point is that penalty. And I can understand the frustration of Postecoglou. It's just these decisions, you've got to get these decisions right, especially when you've got the technology there to help you. You've got to get these decisions right. There's no need to get these wrong.
I mean, that can only happen in Scottish football, but you tell me in the games that you watch against England and the Champions League or European football this season, that it takes about 4 or 5 minutes to make a decision. I mean, I go back to the game yesterday, but also the Friday night game. There was, what did I say? There was 8 minutes I go on at the end of the first half. I mean, that shouldn't take that length of time, Graham.
No, it shouldn't. Of course it shouldn't. You shouldn't be needing more than 1 minute to check a decision. If it's not clear and obvious, then it's not clear and obvious. So I just think that, I mean, even in England, it's still a mess. There's still a lot of poor decisions getting made, and they've had it for a lot longer than us. So it's how the referees use it. And I just think it's been very, very poor so far. And again, that Aberdeen penalty on Friday is not a penalty. Duke does a swan dive. It's not a penalty. And the referee, I don't know what angle he sees of that. And if you do a still angle, it looks worse. But it's not a penalty. You've got to get these decisions right.
I think it's going to be worse. Well, it is worse now, but I think it's going to be worse when, as I call it, coming to the business end of the season after the World Cup, where teams are fighting for survival and all that, cup finals, especially the Old Firm game coming up at Ibrox in the New Year's time, and also the Scottish Cup final as well, Graham.
I was going to mention that actually. The first time it's used in the Rangers Celtic game, I mean, that's going to be horrendous. Let's be honest. You're going to get both sets of fans raging at something. So, and you're going to add on 10 minutes in a game between Celtic and Rangers. I think that's going to be very interesting to see how that's going to get and who's going to be using it as well. That's going to be interesting as well. That's just going to be, Celtic Rangers games are always a powder keg anyway. But the fact that VAR is going to be in there, it's just going to make it 10 times worse.
Dave always says this point to me, Graham, and I mentioned it on Friday when you were on as well. Does it matter if the refs are full-time?
No, I think Dave's right. I don't think it does matter if they're full-time. I think he could get me and you to do in that VR studio and make a better job. These are just very easy decisions to make, and the referees are still getting these wrong. It doesn't matter if they're full-time or not. They've got to get these big decisions right. Now they have the technology to help them. That's what it's brought in for, to help them out. And they're still making a mess of it. So I don't think it matters if you're full-time. You could get any Tom, Dick, Harry off the street that could work it better than these referees are working it.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, so what's your solution then? How can we sort it? And I think the thing is we can't. It's down to them at the end of the day.
It's down to interpretation, but referees, for me, they need to be more consistent, because you're seeing decisions getting made every week that are completely different. As I say, You look at the Michael Smith handball, that's not a penalty. You look at Bernabe yesterday, that is a penalty. You need to be consistent. Either they're both penalties or they're not penalties. You can't give one and not the other. So that, for me, is where referees have got to be better. You need to be more consistent. So I don't know what we do to fix it, but I just think at the moment it's not working. Red Scotland says with the points gap, Celtic need only a draw at Ibrox to all but kill off the title race. 7 points right now is enormous. I've already said Red Scotland, I think the title's done already. I think 7 points with this Celtic team is far too much to make up. I don't see enough in this Rangers team that's going to win enough games. I think it's done already. And we're not even at Christmas yet. I genuinely think it's done already.
I think, and we said this at the time, Graham, as well. I mean, VAR, I had my doubts of it before it came in, and you had your doubts as well, because we say, depends who's what's in the VAR as well. But, is this going to make a mockery of the game in Scotland? It's already a laughing stock south of the border, But is this going to make it even laughable, and also even laughable as well that they never broke it until October?
Yeah, I know. I think it should have been brought in at the start of the season, or not at all. To bring it in, it's a great challenge there for Toby Sibbick, because Motherwell threatened to equalise there. They're looking for a handball. I don't think it is, to be fair, but they'll check everything. So, ball of the box. No, it's good defending for Sibbick. Yes, he's back. It's good defending for Sibbick. I just think that you need to be consistent. These referees have got to be consistent. I'm hoping that it's going to get better as the weeks go on, but at the moment, I'm just not convinced by it. I just don't think it's working just now.
They're still checking this gun. That's not a penalty.
If that gets given a penalty, I'm going to chuck this laptop out the window.
Do it after 5 o'clock. That's definitely not a penalty, Graham. No, he's not gave it.
Just as well, because that was never a penalty. That would have been a horrendous decision if that was given. Why they had to check that? I know they check everything, but that was never a penalty.
Have you noticed as well, Graham? Even though there's been chance for Motherwell there, have you noticed as well that there's been a few controversial decisions in this game, right? But the rest now went over to the monitor once.
No, that's the thing. He didn't even go over to check the George Grant one. Now, I know it was a red card, but he wasn't asked to go and check it just in case to see if his decision was right. So, yeah, it has been interesting. Hearts making a couple of changes. Nathaniel Atkinson and Lewis Nielsen coming on for Josh Ginnelly, and I don't know who else is going off. But, yeah, 50 minutes to go. Still Hearts 2, Motherwell 1. Hearts down to 10 men, working very hard, I will say. But Motherwell putting the pressure on, so this game could easily finish in a draw or a Motherwell win. But come on, the Jambos, hold on. But, yeah, it has been quite a controversial game. There's been a lot of incidents. And again, I think the biggest one is that George Grant one.
See, that's what you were talking about, Graham, right? Because if that penalty was given, but it's never a penalty, right? But that could cost Hearts all 3 points.
It could. It's Andy Halliday that's gone off, the 2-goal hero so far. Halliday going off to be replaced by Lewis Nielsen. So yeah,
I would get Leif come on for a hat trick, but there you go.
If you do a hat trick, his head wouldn't have fit through the door and Dolink. But yeah, I mean, I just think there has been so much controversy so far, not just this weekend, but the last 2 weekends with VAR. As I say, I'm hoping it's going to get better, but at the moment, I'm not convinced.
Maybe someone would tell me in the chat, or maybe you can tell me, Graham, right? But VAR, when that came into English football, after the first 2 or 3 weekends was a big hoo-ha about it.
Yeah, there was, and there still is. There's still just that's a poor mistake there. Chance of Motherwell here.
Van Veen, I think.
Sibbick doing well to hold him up. Lewis Nielsen's first contribution, they gave the ball away.
Oh.
It's a good block by Hearts, though. Yeah, I mean, even in England, it's not been great. There's a lot of folk have not been happy with it. So, yeah, I just think in England it's still not right. And again, the thing in England as well, the offsides. You know, the fact they draw that line as well to prove offsides. I'm not a massive fan of that either.
Dave says Michael will love this. I stayed a 10-minute walk from Portoglie, and I got home at 9:45 on Friday. Well, clever boy, Dave. Two
Motherwell
eight
equalised 2-2. Yeah, it was coming, to be fair. Blair Spittle, the equaliser for Motherwell. I think they'll go win the game now.
Yeah. It's a different game now.
The sending off changed the game. There's no doubt about that. I know Hearts were 2-0 up, but the sending off changes the game. They've got an extra man. It's a very difficult job when you're 2-0 down or you're down to 10 men.
And of course they will check every goal, but
It's a goal. It's a goal.
Yeah,
he's onside. It's actually poor defending. We let him run off, and it's a good finish, but we've got to do better defensively there. I think it's
two of them scanning. Yeah.
Michael Smith switches off. Spittles into the box, doesn't get tracked. 2-2, and you've got to fancy Motherwell to win this now.
Yeah, I bet we're low for Hearts because they were even though they went down to 10 men, they had a few chances before Grant getting sent off as well.
Bring Halliday back on.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to fancy Motherwell now. They're on their ascendancy. I think they should win the game now, but the George Grant sending off changes the game. We're down to 10 men, working really hard after that, game on Thursday against Besiktas here. You can tell the players look absolutely flat on their feet. They're still working hard, but it's just it's disappointing. And another chance for Motherwell here. They're in again here.
No.
Comfortable tape. We've not really created a lot, to be honest, in the second half. After Andy Halliday's goal, we can't really get enough sustained pressure.
After he went off.
Yeah, he only went off for 2 minutes ago. But we're not creating enough chances going forward. We've taken off Josh Ginnelly. The pace that he's got could have been a threat. But yeah, we're just looking a little bit ragged just now, hoping to try and hang on for a 2-2. But the players are giving it everything. They are trying their hardest.
Yeah, obviously there's still a bit of time to go in the game, Graham, but you're trying to avoid with VAR chat, and I know I'm trying to avoid it as well, but it's got to be a laughing stock for Scottish football because, yesterday's, I was watching the Champions League games during the week, and most of the decisions went to VAR, but the VAR decisions takes less than a minute, but in here it takes more than a minute, maybe about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's almost like Champions League referees are far better than any other ones. But yeah, these didn't take us as long to decide. You
might be right.
Yeah, these didn't take us.
Probably when they get female refs. That's a controversial.
Did you not say the referee in that Celtic game got demoted because of the decisions in that VAR?
Yeah,
was it the Rangers game?
I think it was David said that on Friday night. Yeah, the female got demoted. We can't have that in Scottish football because we won't have any refs to demote because they'll be all demoted already.
Well, do you remember years ago when the referees went on strike and we got the foreign referees?
Yeah.
We didn't have any issues that week. It actually worked quite well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everybody had a penalty and everything was fine. Yeah, but yeah, it's funny because as soon as we slag the refs off in Scotland, we can't take it, and yet they go on strike. But it's just not right, Grim.
No, I just think the decisions this weekend have been very poor again. There's not been a lot of controversy in some of the other games this weekend. Today, the Rangers game, there wasn't really anything controversial in that game. And it's just been a frustrating start for VR, let's just say. As I keep saying, I hope it's going to get better, but I've got my doubts.
And we're only in November.
I know.
Remember, I don't know if you remember that one, and only it's just where he pointed to the monitor and then they said, no, it's a film, a book, and they was playing charades. I don't know if you remember that episode.
When Only Excuse was really good. It was really good in the kind of early 90s and then got progressively worse.
But I'll tell you something, if Only an Excuse was on and out, they would have a field day of VAR.
Oh, Johnny Watson and that would Tony Roper would be loving that. It'd be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, no, exactly. So just a few minutes left on the show. Obviously we're here till 5. Keep your comments coming in on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We're at the Locker Room Indie on Twitter as well. No shows this week, Glenn. We're having a week off, but we'll be back on next Friday as well. It's been a busy few weeks for the Locker Room guys.
That's poor refereeing for me for Kevin Clancy there. Now, there is a foul there, but Cammy Devlin's played on and he's away. He's got a chance to square the ball and the referee pulls it back. That's poor refereeing for me. Play on and then pull it back. But yeah, it has been a busy few weeks. The European games are finished. I actually think that's quite a good thing because it gives players a chance to recharge and refresh, especially Hearts. So yeah, I think it's been a frustrating time in European football for the Scottish clubs. Let's be honest, it's not been great. So I think it is good that we're going to get a break now, and hopefully everyone will come back recharged and refreshed in December.
What do you think of Snodgrass's performance, Graham? Obviously, apart from whipping in some good balls into the box, but I think he's been a bit quiet today.
I think he's played well. I think he's tried to get his foot in the ball. He's tried to make things happen. I think he has done well. He's obviously getting older now. The legs aren't quite what they used to be, but I think he's done okay. And he brings that experience to the Hearts team that I think we need. And as I say, his set-piece delivery has been absolutely fantastic. So I think he's done well today, but I think like a lot of the players, he's starting to tire. You know, we're into the last 5 minutes, he's starting to tire a little bit. I'm surprised that he stayed on the pitch, to be honest, but I think he's worked okay today. I think he's worked hard.
I don't know if you've noticed the away support, Graham, but Marvel's brought through a decent support today.
Yeah, they have. You know, Sunday afternoon, it's never a great time, but they have done. You know, they have brought through decent support, and they're happy just now because it's 2-2. But they'll be even happier if they win the game. Hopefully, they don't. But yeah, it's been a good crowd, and it's actually been quite a decent game. To be fair, you know, even though Hearts have been in at 10 minutes, it's been a decent game.
Oh, here's Hearts coming forward again. Still 2 each. I wanted to get your thoughts on the Celtic game on Wednesday night. Was it against just a wee team, Real Madrid? No, that big team. They had a female ref, and I'm sure I heard before the game that was her second Champions League game in men's football. That's good to see that the kind of divide closing a wee bit. You would want to see even more in terms of men refereeing women's games and women's vice versa, women's ref men's games. So that's good to see. And every kind of sport as well, because you get it in tennis as well.
Yeah, it was great. You know, really diverse, and it was great to see her. And I think she did well. I know there's been controversial on that Madrid Celtic game with the handballs, but I think she did really well. She handled herself really well in a big game. And yeah, it's great to see the women getting a bit more recognition for these. And we don't really see a lot of women's referees and linesmen in, you know, men's games, but it'd be great to see that. And yeah, I thought she did well. I thought she did really well.
Yeah, no, exactly. Talking about women's sports, how about this for link game, Graham? There is the big women's tournament coming to Glasgow next weekend. In fact, when we're on the air on Friday, it will begin because it begins on the 8th to the 8th to the 13th of November. It's the Billie Jean Cup final. It's getting held in Glasgow.
It's a penalty to Hearts. It's a penalty to Hearts. It's been given for a handball. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to go to VAR. Well, it will go to VAR because they always do. It's a really good run by Alec Cochrane. The ball, that's a handball. That is a handball. Alec Cochrane does well. Down the left-hand side, Am I going to be controversial? I think it is a handball. From what I've seen, it is a handball. It does hit off the hand of the guy. His hand's kind of down.
Yeah, but
in an
is it
unnatural
out,
position.
Graham?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it's an unnatural position. I think it is a penalty. I think they have checked it on VR. It is going to be a penalty. Lawrence Shanklin to take it. He did miss the last one against Celtic and then obviously got the replay and scored it. But they haven't actually shown the replay again to see if it is a handball, but it certainly hasn't been looked at by VR.
Oh, and he scores. 3-2
You're ahead.
Hearts.
You're ahead of me. I've never seen the penalty. You're ahead of me.
Oh, and the misses.
Lawrence Shanklin, goal number 12 for the season for a guy that folks said could only score in the Championship. Really good penalty for Shanklin. Really good penalty.
I mean, it doesn't matter if we see the replay or not. It's a penalty and it was a goal, Graham. So you can argue about it, okay?
Lawrence Shanklin. Lawrence Shanklin.
But
what a penalty, by the way.
I don't think his arm was out, but it might be. 3-2 Hearts. And it's been a good game, Graham.
Yeah, and really, really pleased to see the last minute that Kai Rowles is coming on. Great to see him back after his injury. He's been a huge miss along with Craig Halkett at the back. So great reception for Kai Rowles, who's going to come on in a minute. I don't know who for. I'm probably guessing who's he coming on for. It is... Hurry up and let me see.
Shangley.
Barry Mackay.
Barry
Barry Mackay's coming off for Kai Rowles. Feed the Bear says, never thought I would see the day wanting Hearts to win keeps my coupon going.
Yep, so just about, that's on the final. That's on 90 minutes, Graham. So it's funny.
Probably a few minutes to be added on, to be honest.
5 minutes, I would say, at the end of the game. But as Murrow comes forward again,
they obviously did check the VR and decided it was a penalty. So,
by the way, I don't know what you're like, but see that penalty instant, you make it that quick. That's what you want to see, Graham.
That's how it should be used.
Yeah.
That's how it should be used. You don't need 3 or 4 minutes. You don't need 3 or 4 takes. Make the decision and stick to it. That was good.
Yeah.
Obviously, it helps Hearts, so that's even better. But yeah,
but that's None of us 4 minutes looking at the camera and say, "Oh well, I don't know if it was a penalty or not." Right, there you go. So
I'll tell you what. By the way, if Hearts win this with 10 men, what a
good win!
What a massive victory that would be.
Going to Ibrox as well, Glim.
Yeah, I mean that could be a massive boost. We'd be up to. I think we would go fourth if we win. If we win this, we're up to fourth. With a game in hand as well against St Mirren in December. Good block there. Because we play on the 17th of December against St Mirren at Tynecastle.
Good save by Craig Gordon. So.
I've not even seen it. You're ahead of me. Stop talking. You're ahead of me.
Brilliant save.
So really good save. I mean, we talk about it numerous times. Craig Gordon's brilliant. I know he's made a couple of mistakes recently, but that's a top save for Craig Gordon.
And
it has been a very entertaining game. I have to say, it has been a very good game of football. I mean, I wasn't sure what I would get for this game after the game on Thursday, but yeah, really good game. This chance, some other one at the box. Chance again, blocked again. Feed the Bear saying, "Where's Big Dave?" Big Dave's on the comments, but he's not on the show tonight. He's obviously too busy. He's a busy man.
I think David actually still sitting at Aberdeen to see if that was a penalty or not. But there you go.
He'll be back next week, hopefully. We do miss Dave when he's not on.
Yeah, we miss his jokes.
Hearts put it. 92 minutes on the clocks. I don't know how long the injury time was. They never said.
They never said.
Why would you see him? I'm not making changes. That's a bit bizarre. They're making changes now when it's nearly finished. Good header away. Atkinson on the ball. Just clear up the line, mate. Clear up the line. That'll do. Long ball up. I don't know how long's been added on here. I don't know. We're into 3
Never
minutes.
said, Grim.
We're into 3 minutes of stoppage time here. I'm assuming it's about 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, but I don't know because I've not seen the clock.
No, usually they pick it up, but not today.
Long ball for this is great. This is great for TV. People watching are wondering what's going on, but Hearts have the ball down the line. Play still carrying on here. We're into 93 plus 28 here. We're 93 minutes.
Do you think
Motherwell-
Robbie Nielsen will shake the ref's hand because he sent a grant off? Because at halftime he was mourning.
I think if he sees it again, he'll see it's the right decision. I'm sure he would have seen it at halftime anyway. It was the right decision. You know, George Grant's got nobody to blame but ourselves. It was a reckless challenge. So, yeah, Motherwell will have a chance here to get the ball in the box.
And that's it finished. I know that's a foul to Motherwell. So, I think that's about 94 minutes playing now.
Yeah, it's a free kick to Hearts. 94 minutes on the clock. Come on, referee, blow the whistle, man.
I think that's going to buy Hearts some well-argued time.
This will be a massive win.
I think as soon as the Hearts takes this, the ref will blow the final whistle. Craig Gordon's.
You can see the Hearts fans are delighted. What a win this would be if we can hold on to this. To be down to 10 men, to get pulled back to 2-2 and then win the game. This would be a huge, huge victory for Hearts.
Well, I mean, you get to Graham, the singing of Mike Jones the game. Not today, obviously. Good 3 points for Hearts.
Motherwell will be disappointed if they can't get anything out of this game, but we're into now 5 minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah.
Come on, referee, blow the whistle, man.
I kind of said it was going to be 4-5, but I didn't know if it was going to be over 5.
I've not seen how long was added on. Good defending there, really good defending. Clear the lines, Gordon. Yep, up the line. We're still playing on. I think this will be about 6 minutes of stoppage time here.
Well, the game
they just went to Motherwell score before they blows the whistle here?
Well, the game be on when we finish this show.
Probably.
That'd be funny. But no, Motherwell's Motherwell's claiming for a penalty, but nothing's in that. They just claimed, and that's it. Time up. 3 points for Hearts. Good 3 points for Hearts.
Get in there! The Jambos are back. What a win. What a 3 points that is.
Yeah. A big statement as well, going down to 10 men, Graham, and winning the game.
Hearts, Hearts, glorious Hearts. It's down at Tynecastle they bide. Oh, man, I'm delighted with that. What a win that is.
Next up, Ibrox from Wednesday night, Graham. So
another easy 3 points. Another easy 3 points there. Lawrence Shanklin, hat-trick incoming.
Yeah. So, busy weekend of football, Graham. Busy week. I like the Sunday shows because we look back in the game at 12 o'clock and then usually we have a game at 3 o'clock and all the games we've actually saw at 3 o'clock has been entertaining. A bit like today, Hearts 3. Hearts winning the game today.
That was a good idea, meant to do the Sunday shows, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm glad I thought of
that. So, yeah, but sadly, there's no any Sunday games coming. Sadly, there's no any Sunday games coming.
Lawrence Shanklin.
Yes, I think Graham's happy. I'm not actually sure.
I hope there's no Motherwell fans watching this. Sorry, but I'm buzzing after that.
Yeah. I mean, 10 men, and but they did well to win. Robbie Nielsen's taken a well-earned round of applause for the Hearts fans, and he's actually smiling, Graham. It's the first time I've seen Robbie Nielsen smiling. Take a photo.
He does smile very occasionally.
Yeah, but he wasn't smiling at half time. He was smiling right into the ref's face. But
he'll be happy now. He'll be delighted now.
Happy Jambo, and you'll be happy Jambo as well, Graham. That was a good game of football. thanks for joining us, guys, on the locker room. It's been a wonderful weekend of football. Glenn will be very happy with that performance. We'll be back next Friday at 5 o'clock on 90 Live Radio, and we'll be back on Sunday at 3 o'clock, looking back at the last weekend action before the World Cup. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching, thanks for your comments, and we'll see you on Friday. See you soon.